So if you're one of those TDE stands who feel, yo, TDE does nothing wrong, under no circumstance can TDE do anything wrong because TDE is associated with Kendrick and Kendrick does nothing wrong, therefore TDE does nothing wrong. If you're one of those people, you should probably not watch this video. If you're one of those people who are like, yo, Kendrick Lamar is like my dad because the Pop Out did something for guys who don't got dads and he's like a dad, you should not watch this video. Click away right now.
Hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much.
My question right now is TDE sabotaging Ab-Soul? So I've done a whole video on TDE and like weird moves they've been making over the past years. Again, I've known about TDE, been listening to them, been supporting them since about 07, 08, since the J-Rock days. I'll link that video here so you guys can go watch this. This is in 2023 I was saying this stuff. This is before the Kendrick and Drake stuff. This is before it was even popular to even say anything bad about TDE because TDE is linked with Kendrick and under no circumstances shall, this is in the 10 Commandments. I don't know if y'all read the 10 Commandments. Under no circumstances thou shall not say anything that can even be construed as negative against Kendrick Lamar or anyone associated with him, right? So Ab-Soul put this tweet out today. Again, Ab-Soul, I'm gonna do a video on Ab-Soul, one of Ab-Soul's verses soon, because Ab-Soul is way too good for this. But Ab-Soul says, so according to the numbers / analytics or whatever, the F, a tour for me has yet to be finalized. He's saying he cannot go on. The label is not allowing him to go on tour, is what he's saying without saying it. Soul Burger, which is Ab-Soul's album, which I've done a review on, really didn't like the album like that, but he put it out. He said it dropped last November. I'm not pointing any fingers, but damn, I feel like that was some of my best work. Something's in the water for sure. We gonna really work into this tweet. We gonna get into it, break it down like a song, like a verse. This feels similar to the end of physical distribution era, which ultimately resulted in the fall of my family-owned record store, Magic Disc Music. I suppose I say all this to apologize for the delay to anyone who anticipates seeing it performed live. I hope to see you soon. So let's really break this down. And to really understand the full context, y'all gotta go watch my sad downfall of TDE video to really understand this. The artists on TDE have, I don't know if it's fear or if it's just massive respect because they grew up together, but they have this fear and or massive respect for the label's executives, mostly Top Dog and then Punch and then some of the other people. It's to the point where these guys, like usually when artists, when rappers, when musicians are on a label and things are not going well, they feel like they're not being treated right, the artists speak out. Like this is just like from Prince to Lupe Fiasco, this is a very common thing that artists, musicians do. If they have issues with the label, they speak out like, yo, what's up with these dudes, man? Not letting me tour, not letting me release music, trying to change my creative inspiration, creative control. The artists on TDE historically do not speak out against the executives. We get like these passive aggressive messages like this, which then go on to be deleted. There's a history of this. And the only artist on TDE who's ever had the balls to speak out against what's happening to them on the label, not even, I'm not saying they're insulting, I'm not saying you gotta insult or take down someone's character. The only ones who's had the balls to speak out after years and years of not putting out music was SZA. And then even SZA has gone on, taken it back and apologized, like someone her social media handle and be like, nah, we can't be having this. This is what we're getting from Ab-Soul right here. So let's really break down this post. He says, so according to the numbers / analytics or whatever, a tour for me has yet to be finalized. So what this reads to me, I can't speak for Ab-Soul. All I can do is interpret what he's posted. But to me, this reads like, I've been asking about a tour for my album that I just put out in November. And then the people who are in control of my booking or whatever, they're telling me the numbers and the analytics don't match up. Oh, we're looking at your streaming data and you aren't getting a certain amount of listens in Georgia, in Idaho, in Massachusetts. Therefore, it's not profitable for us to do a tour. This is how I read it. So it sounds like someone at the label or whoever's doing his booking, probably at the label, is not allowing him to go on tour. And the reason they're giving him is numbers and analytics. He said Soul Burger dropped last November. I'm not pointing any fingers. So again, it's like this fear and or respect. I don't know which it is. I'm not pointing any fingers. Ab-Soul is one of the smartest rappers from his lyrics. I mean, I don't know the guy in real life, but from his lyrics, he's like one of the smartest rappers I've ever listened to. He knows exactly what the issue is, but he doesn't want to point fingers. He doesn't want to point at his label. He says, I feel like this is some of my best work. Something's in the water for sure. Like something is amiss here at TDE. And I'm going to get into what I think it is after I read this tweet. He said, this feels similar to the end of physical distribution, like the end of the CD era, which ultimately resulted in the fall of his family-owned record store, Magic Disc Music. So to me, this sounds like he's saying like, yo, if I'm not allowed to like get busy on the road and tour off the music, it was so much for Ab-Soul to even release this album in the first place. I bet they like, it took years and years and years for this album to be released. And with the TDE, with the meat writers, again, the TDE meat writers, again, we got supporters like myself and like you, but then we got like these meat writers who just, because TDE is associated with Kendrick, they can do no wrong, right? Until Kendrick comes out and says, yeah, they did some wrong. Then it's, oh, okay, Kendrick said it, so, okay, you was never believing that when people like me were telling you. But anyway, what the meat writers used to say is, yo, Isaiah Rashad, Kendrick, Ab-Soul, they haven't released an album in 5 years because they don't want to. It's not TDE, because again, TDE can do no wrong because they're associated with Kendrick. It's the artists. It takes time to make an album. Mind you, these are the same artists who used to drop an album every year. These are the same artists who just used to drop one album every year. It takes time. Oh, you just want microwave music. You want ringtone rap. You expect an album to be, no. They used to tell me, these guys like Ab-Soul, they don't want to release music. That's why they haven't released music in 5-6 years. Until SZA comes out and says, yo, these niggas is withholding my music. What's up with them? Until people start speaking out, right? But anyway, it probably took so much for Ab-Soul to even get this album released. Now he can't even tour on it. So he's saying like, yo, this is like gonna lead to the end of my career. Similar to how the end of physical distribution led to the end of my family-owned record store. So he said he basically apologizes to all of his fans who want to see it performed live. So I said I was going to get to why I think TDE is behaving like this. Again, the executives, you got to go watch this downfall of TDE video. I'll break all this down. But the executives at TDE, they have I don't know what's going on there, right? I think they have a dilemma at TDE. Kendrick Lamar has been going off that label for years. I mean, they're still eating off of him, which is odd, isn't it? Like, it's not odd to anyone else that Kendrick has left this label. There was talk, some people in the industry, like Joe Budden, they were talking about, there's like some odd things going on that even Joe Budden didn't want to get into. I could surmise that this would be true, just based off my observations. But it wasn't, to the public, it appeared like a clean split from Kendrick. So it is a little odd that Kendrick is still super involved with the artists on TDE, right? Like he's touring with SZA, like SZA's on the album, SZA's at the Super Bowl. I'm not saying it's extortion, but I'm just saying it's odd, right? So anyway, and again, there is this fear or respect for Top Dawg that these artists have, right? So I think Top Dawg, they have lost their cash cow. TDE, they've lost their cash cow. And Kendrick, they're still eating off this cow. It's like, it's odd. But anyway, to my next point, they've lost him. So now as a business, they're looking at it business-wise. Cash flow. We're gonna have far less cash flow coming in. Even though we may own Kendrick's music that he's already released with us, in the future, the cash flow isn't gonna be as much as it would be as if Kendrick was dropping music with us, if Kendrick re-signed. So I think TDE is looking at it like, man, we need a solution for this. This is smart business, right? So their other cash cow on TDE is SZA. And SZA still has a number of albums left on her deal, but SZA will speak out. Like SZA will make the block hot. Kendrick, he's not gonna make the block hot. You can tell Kendrick, bro, you're not gonna release no music for 6 years and you're not gonna do anything about it. And he's going to play along. I mean, for whatever reason. You can do that to Schoolboy Q, you can do it to J-Rock, you can do it to Ab-Soul. Well, so far, Ab-Soul seems to be speaking up. SZA's like, no, you're not gonna do that to me. Reason is like, no, you're not gonna do that to me. That's why they've been vocal. I think now they're looking at SZA like, okay, this is our cash cow now. But she's disgruntled. So when SZA, when her contract is up, when she fulfills her albums, I think TDE's looking at it like, yo, she's for sure leaving. Because she's been very vocal about her distaste for what's been happening there. So they're looking into future projections. What else can we do? So eventually they had to allow SZA to put out music because she's making the block too hot. But instead of putting a full album out, which would count towards her contract, which means, okay, she's one more album closer to fulfilling her deal and leaving it. The TDE, it just seems, again, I'm just speculating. It seems like, yo, we'll let you put out more music, SZA, but it's gonna be on the same album. Like, SZA released a whole album's worth of music on that Lana Deluxe, but it's just still a part of Lana. So to me, what that reads is, again, contact your industry expert. I'm just a nigga on YouTube talking. But to me, that looks like, yo, a compromise. SZA, you want to release music? Cool. But it's not going to count towards your albums in your contract. Therefore, you can release a whole album's worth of music, but you're still going to owe us the same amount of albums that you did before. Compromise. Because we want to hold on to you. We want to keep you Frizzle. As we want to milk all the life out of you until your contract is until your career is over, until you're no longer hot. Then you can go along and do what you want to do. But SZA, you're not gonna be off this label until, bro, like you're gonna be like 40 plus years old. You know what I mean? And still be in your contract. Whether you got 2 albums left or you got 3 albums left, that's what it's reading like. So even then, TDE, they can see, this is, again, speculating, they can see kind of the end of the road with, you know, Kendrick has already left, SZA's for sure going to leave. We dang near, we held Kendrick's album for as long as we possibly could. From 2017 to 2022, like, yo, we really held that for as long as we possibly could. Like, we really dragged that. And the meat riding fans, they are believing, oh, it's just because Kendrick doesn't want to release music. Well, he takes time to release music. They believe it, so that's good, right? Guys like me who are calling foul, we're in the minority. So anyway, I think the play now for TDE is, okay, we're gonna hold on to SZA until the life in her career is completely gone. We're gonna hold on to her until her moment has all the way passed. Then, okay, now you can go do what you want to do, independent or whatever the hell you want to do. But now the play is Doechii. And what's been happening, shout out to Doechii, but what's been happening with Doechii, I've never seen marketing like this for an artist ever. I've never seen marketing this heavy for a rapper. I won't say an artist, but for a rapper, I haven't seen this in a long time. Doechii, this is someone who sold like 10 or 11,000 records the first week of her album, which came out a couple months ago. She's going on to win Grammys. She's going on with Billboard Woman of the Year. She's going on like to have like her own little show on YouTube off of 10, 11,000 records sold. I think Ab-Soul sold like 5,000 on his album. Doechii did like double that. You know, both are very extremely low numbers for artists on a major. But I think the play for Doechii is she has mainstream appeal. Women rap is in, and she's legitimately good. So we're gonna spend money to make money. This is like the age-old adage. We're gonna spin on Doechii, because again, Grammys and Woman of the Year, like these aren't merit-based awards. You aren't winning a Grammy because your album's good. Like you're winning a Grammy, it's politics. It's an industry award. It's not like an NFL MVP or an NBA MVP where it's based on stats and things that can be looked at objectively. The Grammy's not that. It's you win a Grammy because some type of industry politics 9 times out of 10. We're not saying it was paid for. We just saying it was some politics. So I think they're putting all this money into Doechii, banking on her, which I think is smart because I think it is going to pay off because I think they see the writing on the wall with SZA. So now when you got guys like Ab-Soul I think they just look, I think TDE looks at Ab-Soul as he's just not profitable. He's just not profitable. Which is sad, because if you've been with TDE since, you know, late 2000s, early 2010s, Ab-Soul was really like the heart of TDE. Kendrick Lamar was the talent, but Kendrick Lamar got better because of Ab-Soul. Kendrick Lamar himself admits this. Like, y'all used to study Ab-Soul. Like, he was so good. And the whole high power era with TDE, like the high power movement is really what took Kendrick to the next level. It's really what took that black hippie. It's really what put them on that next echelon. That whole high power stuff, if I had to guess, that's Ab-Soul. Like, that's something straight out of Ab-Soul's rhyme book. High power, spelling it with 3 eyes, third eye, you know, DMT. What was that song called? I wrote like Edgar Allan. I was supposed like Edgar Allan, whatever it was called. That's Ab-Soul. Like, nobody else on TDE raps like that. Oh, my third eye and this and that. Black liberation. Nobody else on TDE was rapping like that. So that even like, it's just sad to see Ab-Soul in this position, because at one point he was the heart and soul of TDE. Now he can't even tour. Now, I'm not saying Ab-Soul needs to go on a worldwide tour. Ab-Soul is not going to sell a worldwide tour. But I think, and again, I'm not in the business. Ask your music industry expert. But I just think out of respect for the guy, you know, who has this debilitating disease, who knows how long we have left with Ab-Soul on Earth. You know, he's had some attempts, you know, without saying the actual word, he's had some attempts regarding his life and his livelihood, and he has like this debilitating disease. Who knows how long we have left with Ab-Soul? This is like the heart and soul of TDE, or was at one point. Huge reason why TDE is where it is today was based on a movement in high power, which he pioneered, in my opinion. Ab-Soul can maybe come back and debunk this and be like, oh no, it was Schoolboy Q that came up with high power. I just don't see that happening. That's Ab-Soul. We're not saying the guy has to do worldwide tour stadiums, but I think, yo, have him do the El Rey, the House of Blues, the Observatory, or even if it's just something in California or just in the Western regions. Let the man go out and perform his music for what he's done for TDE. Like, and even like the Kendrick GNX tour. We couldn't have had Ab-Soul come up and open. I'm not saying we don't have to have SZA. I'm saying, like, yo, Ab-Soul couldn't have been the dude performing in the very beginning. Like, I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. So anyway, W in the chat if you're a TDE meat rider. W in the chat. Yo, you should, if you just meat riding, you can't see these guys doing any wrong. You shouldn't even be watching this video this late in the video. But everyone else, I want to know what y'all think in the comments. Am I off the mark? So some of my opinions, I'd be too early with them. So it sounds crazy, but then like 4 years pass and then it'd be like, oh, dude was right about that. Low key, high key. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.